Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Hairy Muppet, and we are going to be casting quarter final number 2 for the HomeStory Cup number 7. And here we go. I mean, the last few games, we're facing off Hyun versus MC, and Hyun doing an absolutely fantastic job at putting the hurt on MC. But now we do have Zerg versus Zerg, mirror matchup. Up the top left side, we do have our blue Zerg player. He is going to be Snute, heralding from Norway and playing for Team Liquid. And down the bottom right side of the map, we do have our red Zerg player. He's going to be Stephano, hailing from France and playing for Evil Geniuses. Now, before I go on and talk about these guys and how they did in the round of 16 and the round of 32, I just want to clear up something a little bit. The first quarter final, Hyun versus MC, it was not a 3-0 streak as I originally thought. It was actually a 3-1 streak. And what happened was the one of the replays was not in the replay pack, and I didn't notice it until I'd already cast the first 3 games. And unfortunately, the replay that was missing was the one that MC won. So it was not just Hyun 3-0. MC did win a game. He won the second game of the series. And unfortunately, we do not have the replay for that game, so I'm sorry I cannot cast it. I did look at the VOD though, and what did happen was Hyun went for a very nice, quick third expansion, and he was still getting his roaches up when MC went in there with about a 10-11 minute push. It was a bunch of stalkers, sentries, a couple of zealots mixed in, but mainly stalkers and sentries, and he just completely went in there and overwhelmed Hyun's roach army at that point and did a lot of good damage. So that was it. That was MC getting back in there, so he was not completely overwhelmed. And before I did that research, I actually popped up how well each player did in the round of 32 and 16, and coming into the quarterfinals, Hyun was the only one out of the round of 32 and 16 who got through to the quarterfinals without losing a single game. But yes, he did definitely lose a single game in the quarterfinals versus MC, but still continued on, and he will be in the semifinals. He will be facing either Snute or Stephano in the semifinals, depending on which one of these players wins this best of 5 series. So starting with Snute, in his round of 32, he beat Morrow and Hendrilisk without dropping a game. And then in the round of 16, he beat Seed without dropping a game, but he did drop a single game to Happy before beating him 2-1 and moving on to the quarterfinals. So yeah, good for him. And yeah, not too much going on here. A bit of speed going down for Stephano. I thought I saw. Did I see something else here? No, that's pretty much it. Just getting some queens and some drones. Looks like he's getting a couple of lings out here. Not too much ling pressure from Snute. Snute just concentrating on other things at the moment. And yeah, Baneling Nest coming down, so that could be interesting. Speaking of interesting, let's have a look at how Stephano did in his round of 32 and round of 16. Now, in his round of 32, he went up against Happy and Panda Tank. Beat them both without dropping a game. And in the round of 16, he went up against Taja, and he did lose versus Taja, but then he went on to beat both Ghost Swir and Mana, and he did not lose a game to either of those guys. Now, Ghost Swir, I'm really not sure how to pronounce his or her name, but it is Goswser. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine as to how to pronounce that. Now, we've got some pretty scary looking link production there, and he does have speed finished. But it does look like Snute is going to be able to wall this off quite nicely. And yeah, should not be a problem. He's actually getting rid of the creep chimney. It looks like he wants the full-on wall there. Now this is nice because he can still have some movement through his queens. But I'm not sure. He either is going to be cancelling this spine crawler or cancelling this Evo chamber, because I don't think he wants a full-on wall in here. But no, maybe he does. Maybe he's that worried about the Banelings, although I'm not sure if he actually scouted the Banelings nest coming in. If you have a look, he does know that it's coming in, but he does choose to close down this Evo chamber, not to build it up. And meanwhile, the roach speed is on the way. Level 1 weapons coming down as well. Stephano is going for level 1 weapons as well. He's going for roaches, so this Ling thing is obviously just a temporary sort of investiture. And we do have a lair coming down as well, so that may be for a lot of different options. Could be infestation pit for what's the damn thing's called, the swarm hosts, or just straight up for infestors. Could be mutas. Hydras you don't really need a lair for, I don't believe. I may be wrong about that though. Maybe you do need a lair to build hydras. And yeah, I really don't know. I think you do. I'm pretty sure you do need a lair to build hydras, but we will see exactly what happens. He's got to move out with some roaches there. Got to do quite a bit of damage. You think he's looking to just get that third base down. He definitely needs to get the third base down. His overlord sees the Stephano getting the third base down, so he does not want to be behind on bases. We have a look at income. He's about 5 workers behind, but that's not a super large lead. And these Lings, excellent attack. They're really using their speed advantage to get in there. Force the cancel on that hatchery, and Snute did very well to cancel that at the very last second. He managed to kill a few extra Lings because of that, because they had to keep hitting that hatchery, and therefore gave the roaches an open opportunity to just waste them all over the place. But looking at the units tab, we got 19 roaches versus only 9 for Stephano. So this roach army is going to be quite scary, and we do actually have an ultralisk pit, I think it's called, infestation pit. Why do I get these so confused? And here we go. The roach is going to come out, but they do not have the numbers that Snute has, and he's going to use these numbers against Stephano, and it's all going to get taken out. And this hatchery does not look like it's going to be in a very good position here. But I guess the question is, after this hatchery goes down, will Snute make this work and take out even more bases? Because right now he is in the lead economically, but his base is still coming up. He hasn't even finished yet, so he's bought himself a bit of an economic lead there, but not a huge one. But if he manages to take out some tech structures here, some of the things building the upgrades, this hatchery even, he is going to be in a very good shape. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it, because there's constant reinforcements coming out, and so far he's just been taking out military units. I don't think he's really got any drones here. It's just a continuous stream of single roaches coming out, and he's done very well. He's evened up so far by taking this hatchery out, but I think at this point he is not going to be able to do any more damage, and he is going to have to back off. But yeah, he's definitely got himself back in the game right now, and we can see he is building an absolute crap load of roaches here. So yeah, he really wants to get the roach production going. Now Stephano is going into some advanced tech options. So he's got the locust upgrade, which makes them last 10 seconds longer. He's going for swarm hosts as well. So yeah, in a matter of I don't know, I'm going to say about 3 or 4 minutes, he could potentially have enough swarm hosts to be able to keep these roaches off. But you really need like 4 or 5 swarm hosts, I'm going to say, to produce enough locusts to just create this awesome locust wall, which just warps out everything. With with less than about 4 swarm hosts, I don't know, 3 maybe you can still do something, but he don't think he has 3. He's got 2 at the moment, and that might be enough to turn the tide here. These roaches totally outnumbered by Snute, and the locusts, man, they're doing a tiny little bit, but that's all they're doing. They're really not doing enough. And look at this, man, Snute bringing along an overseer, so that is just an absolutely genius move. If he hadn't had the overseer, he might have been had his army whittled down eventually by these swarm hosts, but he did bring it in. And yes, that swarm host going down, and the other ones know that they are going to be next. So Snute doing a very nice attack to start off this quarterfinal series, this best of 5 series. And yeah, the back and forward, man, really top notch. Stephano going in with the Lings, taking this base out nice and quickly, and Snute countering with a large amount of roaches. He got the roaches a bit earlier than Stephano, pushed out and took this base out, so that evened up the economy. But he was already getting his 3rd base, and from then on, man, he just went roach crazy, absolutely nuts. You can see he wasn't that far ahead of Stephano. He didn't really push the economy like some players would, they'd go out, they'd knock down the third, and then they'd say, all right, I've got Stephano on the back base, on the back foot, so I'm gonna just push my economy like there's nobody's business, and yeah, get the advantage that way. But Snute just kept going for the roaches. He kept going and going and going, and he got up a very, very impressive army. And Stephano, man, he made the mistake of trying to go for some higher tech units, I think. They would have been good, but he just didn't have the time, and Snute hit him at exactly the wrong point. If Snute had pushed back and just gone for a crapload of drones instead of a crapload of workers, sorry, instead of a crapload of roaches, then you may have had enough swarm hosts out to provide an effective defense, but even so, he wouldn't have been able to destroy the blue player, Snute, with that army, and he would have just been defensively minded for the rest of the game with those swarm hosts. It's very, very hard to be offensively minded with swarm hosts, but there we go. Beautiful timing there by Snute, and that is going to be game number 1. So we'll have to see if Stephano can find a way to push back in game number 2 against this very, very seriously scary roach pressure from Snute. And there we go. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. I'll catch you in game number 2.